The book's called Rebirth, the Dark Ones, and I have a series to follow as well. It's based upon a young boy that lives in a farm, and he's a farmhand, and he's falling in love with a slave girl that her master is an evil gargoyle, and he gets enough gumption to go rescue her one night, and then the gargoyle catches him and says, "Why do you want my slave?" And he goes, "Well, I'm in love with her." So he goes, "Well, you can have her on one condition." And he goes, "What's that?" And it's he has to get the stone of solitude. It's a mystical, powerful stone. In the wrong hands, it can cause corruption and evil throughout the world in time and space. So on his way, he deals with gods, demons, creatures, and other mystical stuff. Then there's the sequels. There's one called The Dark Ones, The Guardians of Time and Space and Emptiness. And there was one in Time and Space, but I redid that, and it's called The Dark Ones, The Guardians of Time and Space in Resurrection. So it's more in depth on the Guardians and focusing on the Guardians and all. The Guardians are, they eliminate evil throughout time and space to make the world more peace and harmony and stuff like that. Actually, one day I was trying to think of something for my girlfriend for Valentine's Day, and so I wrote this story that ended up to be the first chapter of the book, but it's been changed 10 different times for the book. But my wife still has well, she's my wife now, she still has the original card, you know, the big cards you get at Shoppers Drug Mart and Zehrs. So I got that and I put it in there, and then I got a wine rack, a little wine rack. I put some black felt on it and 4 candles, and I got this thing from the dollar store, and along with the rock, because every time I say I love you, she goes, "Yeah, well, it's not carved in stone." So I actually carved it in stone. I went to Stone Road Mall in Guelph here and had them engrave it. Food loves Shannon and stuff, or Clint loves Shannon. And then I put it in the case, you know, like Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Ark. I found something like that at the dollar store, and I put the rock in it, and I put it in by the candles. And she's reading the story, and she goes, "Well, what happened to the Rock of Solitude?" And she's got the rock. So that's how it all started, and I'm like thinking, well, I can add to this. So I kept writing and end up to be the first book, and I self-published that, but there was I felt there was more to it that I can add. So instead of the battle scene between good and evil to be like a paragraph, I added over 4,000 words and renamed the chapter. So the book's bigger and better and I redesigned the covers. So it's a whole new book now, and from cover to cover. And the second book is a lot bigger and better than the first one. There's more adventure, there's drama, suspense, there's a bit of comedy in there between a bunch of the wizards, and suspense, drama, a lot of action and magic throughout the whole book. I have a mock-up book that's in the 2015 International Book Fair in Miami in November, and apparently there's supposed to be over 300,000 people going there on a weekend, like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, throughout the 3 days.
And so that's where we're at right now, looking for a publisher?
Yeah, I've sent a lot of stuff out. My agents send a lot of things out, and hopefully I can find a publisher that would publish it all. Oh, can you pass me a book? Thank you. I got a binder here that has all the information of the Guardians. All 3 books are in here, plus I have an option to write 3 more books. So there's 6 books in total. Plus I also designed a animated series based on the books, merchandising based on the animated series. And I have a good friend, he's an award-winning director that wants to do the whole movie series, but we're looking for a producer that can handle this big production. And if the right publisher that wants to sign and likes the books, well, they'll be making a lot of money from this series and everything else that has to do with it, including the spin-offs, because with the kids with the animated series, when it becomes popular, they'll buy the books, and then they'll probably have a movie, and with the movie comes more books from the publisher, so a lot of books are coming from the publisher. Yeah, there was a large gap in between the kids' fantasy adventure tales, between like Harry Potter and the Chronicles of Narnia. So I figure that it's about time the kids of the world has faith in the world and that. So I created this story and trilogy to give the kids of the world more hope and something to look forward to in life. And when they read the book, there's a lot more to fight for in life, along that kind of line.
So it's full of life lessons?
Yeah, there's lessons in between. When you read the story, there's lessons in between the lines. How you should treat people equally, how you should be treated, and how there's a lot of love in the world than evil and hatred. Well, this all started that my mentor, and if it wasn't for him creating his vision, which is George Lucas, with his Star Wars back in '75, that 90% of, well, 90 or 95% of the movies that are created now, including Harry Potter, wouldn't be created if it wasn't for George Lucas and his vision and dreams. So I like to thank him. I like to thank my wife, and well, girlfriend at the time, and my son, because I did it mostly all for him, because he came up to me one night and said that he hates reading because there's nothing good. So I thought I'd start writing some books with him in it that you'd think that he would enjoy reading. So, and I told one of my friends that, and she says her son doesn't like to read. So I gave her the manuscript, a copy of the manuscript, and she read it to him. And then I gave her a t-shirt that I created, part of the merchandising. T-shirts. That's what the old book cover used to look like. And it's got stuff on the back as well. And he he started reading that every night, and his grade for writing and English went up from like a D to an A, because I gave him my story and he fell in love with it, and he enjoys reading now. And the shirt that I gave him, his mom told me that he put it in a glass frame and it's on his wall. My website is www.frywoodstudios.com, and it's got a radio interview on there, and it's got the animated series, and I sent some stuff away for the animated series to animated studios in Toronto, and one studio answered back. It's the House of Cool Animated Studio in Toronto. It's a part of Disney, I believe, or Blue Sky, that's also a part of Disney. They said they'd be optioned to help me out do the animated series. So I just got to come up with some of the funding to do the 2-minute trailer, which I did design for the storyboards, and I drew little storyboards for the scenes and that. And I'm also doing other books. I have a spy book series that I'm doing, and a thriller series about revamping and returning a legend back into the world.